With Barcelona's most important game of the season closely approaching, I must admit that it would be worth a while taking a look at this game one last time. Bayern Munich looks stronger than ever, and in the past few days we've seen several statements being very provocative, suggesting that Barcelona are unanimously the underdogs. But in this video I wanted to focus on how could this actually turn in favor for Los Cules, and really answering the question whether Barcelona are that far behind Bayern Munich. The truth of the matter is that Bayern Munich looks scary. They really do. But Barcelona must find reasons for optimism ahead of the Champions League Quarter-Finals. Bayern Munich has never really looked that solid in the past few years as compared to this season. And hell, they even had a very similar journey to Barcelona as well if we take into account the fact that they changed halfway through the campaign managers too. Hansi Flicks took over the Bavarian job on the 3rd of November of 2019, as soon as the management from Bayern Munich decided that the former Croatian international Niko Kovac was not in control of the team anymore. And boy, oh boy, how have the mighty grown. While initially being appointed as an interim coach, the German board eventually granted Hansi Flick the possibility of becoming the permanent manager for Bayern Munich due to his incredible brilliant work that he has been doing with the team. They had already secured the Bundesliga and the German Cup, and now they are looking towards the Cup with a very big ears. What we must remember about this Bayern Munich side is that they're gonna be proposing their own style of football that is all led by their goal machine, their star, Robert Lewandowski, currently sitting on 53 goals this campaign, with 13 of those in the Champions League, only with 44 appearances throughout all competitions. And they have been a little bit arrogant because of it, if you ask me, disrespectful to some extent as well, but that's another story. An underdog, a term used to describe a side that is thought to have little to no chance of winning a sporting contest. Certainly not a word you would use to describe Barcelona, right? But is being an underdog for Barcelona really that bad? Well, heading into a decisive clash, expectations might just be the best thing that could happen for Barcelona. The whole world has seen how this club have gone down meekly against Roma, against Liverpool, despite being in the driving seat. The main similarity that these two defeats had was that Barcelona approached them as favorites. That is what pressure can do to one, really. Even to the most professional of players, the most confident of footballers, they can start doubting themselves. And whilst Barcelona struggle to perform when the nerves get into them, things might look different to the forthcoming clash. Losing the match might not be considered as a disappointment for the Catalans, and because it is something that many would expect, may just make these players play like they have never done ever before. They have nothing to lose. Barcelona mostly struggle always when they have to face a low block or a tight defensive unit, or like we like to call it, the Mourinho old style of parking the bus. Nonetheless, in this game they will not probably be having to even try and face that because they're no longer holding to the favorite stack. Here there will be a role reversal. The Bavarians will be compelled to field a very high defensive line, and things could be very tricky for them on Friday if Setien goes for an unorthodox lineup. Introducing Ansu Fati, Ousmane Dembele and Riqui Puig could jeopardize the favorites, and even so, it's not just the youth that benefits here. The disregarding comments by numerous influential personalities of the Bundesliga giants have certainly not gone down well in the dressing room. Having been eased off the burden of expectation, what could expect the core of the Catalan team to come out roaring? The world could witness how the likes of Lionel Messi and Marc-André ter Stegen prefer to let their performances do the talking. It is no longer a question of form, it is now a question of pride and principle. With the space left in behind as Bayern Munich try to please the media and the fans because they are the favorites in this game, Barcelona could really take a secondary role and just sit on the front foot and try to look for their perfect moment and time to strike. I'm not saying that Barcelona are going to park the bus, I'm not saying that Barcelona should play with a low block, but they should be humble and understand that they might not be the best team on that match, on that field on Friday, and that might just get them the result that they need. Even with all of that being said, Barcelona beating Bayern is probably not the most common of scenarios as we approach this game, but there are still a lot of points which Barcelona can take reference to build on a foundation that can lead them to get an unexpected victory. As much as Bayern Munich appears to be the perfect machine, not a single cog out of sight, there are aspects to their game that are yet to be tested by a strong enough team and have not been put to the test, so we still have to wait and see to call this German team flawless. While facing the likes of Tottenham Hotspur, Borussia Dortmund and Chelsea can look as challenging duels, they have never felt the kind of pressure and technical difficulties that they may find themselves against in a club like Barcelona. One of the biggest problems that the German side has seemed to fallen into the last decade has always been that they finished the Bundesliga too early, and for them, securing the first spot of the league has always been more or less an easy job for Bayern Munich. Whilst Bayern might have shown a fresh, cohesive, attacking-minded side when stepping into the field against their round of 16 counterpart in Chelsea, playing a demotivated team is not the perfect scenario to test your squad after a long month of basically nothing. Having Bayern Munich pressed up on their own arrogance might help Barcelona in the long run, and I believe actually this is the very biggest weakness that they currently have. Apart from the fitness and rhythm related aspects of the Bayern Munich side, it is interesting to find a way as to Barcelona can cope tactically and technically during the upcoming Champions League match. This is where the Germans have proved to be the best in the world. As of this moment, intensity of movements with the ball, diagonal and vertical passing, winger and broad games and midfield dynamism are just a few of the main factors that Bayern Munich brings to the table. Plus, the unstoppable Lewandowski up front is, of course, currently the best striker in the world. Lionel Messi might just want to make the phrase "there's a difference between a great goal scorer and a great player" real in that game. While Lionel Messi might not be able to follow Alphonso Davies in his offensive adventures, someone being played just behind the Argentinian in that side of the field might be the best thing possible for Barcelona. Let's say Sergio Roberto plays in that area of the field. Then Alphonso Davies would be a little bit more reluctant because Lionel Messi will not have to worry about him going forward. That will stop Alphonso Davies' attack and make him think a little bit more for whenever he wants to break position. On the other side of the field, there's going to be a huge difference. Are we going to have a midfielder like Arturo Vidal? Is Antoine Griezmann going to play there, or Ansu Fati is going to start by surprise? In my humble opinion, Barcelona must go with Arturo Vidal because there's a lot of verticality and diagonal runs added to the play of Bayern Munich, as we saw from the performance against Chelsea. They go all out with 8 players in attack and only their 2 center backs sitting in behind. So someone like Arturo Vidal there trying to compress the midfield and helping Sergio Busquets as the 2 pivots of the side could really make it more difficult for Bayern Munich to find the spaces in between the lines. Lastly, seeing Ousmane Dembele as one of the players called up for the game should excite us a little bit. Perhaps not too much because he hasn't played that much since November of last year, but his pace is out of this world, and when the two teams are fatigued, their legs and their lungs are hurting, this is positive news for Barcelona, and more importantly, positive news for Ousmane Dembele. He can really take the victory royale in this one if you ask me. But how is Barcelona going to be able to fit all of these names into a composite vintage 4-3-3? Well, this is not going to be the case. Quique Setien is going to move to a 4-4-2 in this game, as many have been reporting, and this might just be to prove the Cules' main hope of survival against Bayern Munich on the upcoming Champions League matchup. With double cover on both sides of the pitch, the duo of Sergio Roberto and Nelson Semedo could try and stop the pace of Alphonso Davies and Perisic, while others Jordi Alba and either Riqui Puig or Frankie de Jong could adapt to the circumstances in the changing ever formation of Kimmich and Gnabry's rhythm through the right. To Clement Lenglet and Gerard Piqué, the homework of keeping Lewandowski silent and nowhere near goal might just be impossible, so the best way for us to stop the Polish striker is to cut the supply to him. I hear so much fuss saying how Barcelona are not going to be able to match Alphonso Davies on a counter, or Lewandowski where he has so much space up front, but if we do not have that, if we play in a way that no one is expecting and just simply be as defensive and concise as we can be, then Barcelona have a real chance. I'm talking about long balls being the key to success, and plus having Leo playing behind the main striker will give us freedom to find precise passes when the ball is being recovered from the opponent's feet, as well as giving him the right amount of time to produce something we have never seen before, or even to try a shot on goal. We can talk about any countermeasures we like for Barcelona to stand a chance against the Bavarian Giants, but this just shows how much time has changed. The times where the Catalans were not worried about the opponents, the game plans, where they just did not give a damn about who their opponents even were, But now we just have to play the game, and as long as we are due, nowadays Barcelona has to focus solemnly on how the rivals are playing. They must adapt their strategy to it. It is sad, but it is what it is. That is why Quique Setien may end up choosing the 4-4-2 system, a classic play for a classic game. Go on, see your homework, and Barcelona might just be able to win this game.